those teenagers, some of them children, using drugs for the first time. I mean, we've done shows where we've talked to teenagers who have started on drugs as early as 8 or 9 years old. And joining us now is Dr. David Lewis, who is the founder and director of ASAP. It's a family treatment program at Anacapa Hospital in Ventura, California. And David, you work with families like this every day. I was really impressed. I've got to say this before we go. I mean, it brought me to tears myself, that just to hear this man, Eric, who is ready to make such a change in his life from being addicted or still addicted to heroin, but talking about the trust issues that families have to go through, believing, you know, trust has to be earned, he said, and I appreciate that, and his mom was so very, very proud. But when we talk about rehab, I mean, I want you to talk down here, because I think Rebecca and John are going through a tough time with Jennifer. Maybe it is just pot. Is that something to be so concerned about?
You know, I'm a little worried, Jennifer, because it seems like, I mean, are you really willing to be drug tested? I mean, you know?
John, haven't you started doing that with Jennifer?
Well, we were going to a group where she goes to school, a parent support group. Mm-hmm. And they test there, or they tell us where to go. And after the altercation we had with her one night at the house, on such a mood swing, we just figured the next day I was going to take her to talk to the counselor, and then I told her that morning that we were going to go be tested.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jennifer, I'm worried that kind of like you get out of here and you say, I'll do, but then when you get home, you've got 5 more excuses, you know, why you should go ahead and use pot to smoke, or to smoke pot to sleep, or to, you know, to do whatever, you know. And when you get home, are you going to kind of get back into the arguments with your parents?
Well, we've been in the arguments. And what happens is, you know, I came home Tuesday night, and I brought a friend home. I brought my best friend home. And yeah, I did mess up. I should have asked.
But wasn't the best friend the guy?
Yeah, I should have, but he stayed over before, and I've had, like, my guy friends stay over, and he's like my brother to me. You know, and I'm sure about 90% of these people, they have these best friends that are just like their brothers, and they wouldn't do that. And the thing is, I came home that night, and, you know, yeah, I should have called and asked if he could have stayed the night before, and they probably would have been okay with it, you know. But that night they had they were making accusations about me gonna sleep with him or whatever, and that made me feel kind of cheap.
But you know something, that comes with being a kid. Goodness knows I went through that 50 million times with my friends. You go through those types of difficulties with your parents. I just want to know about when it comes to the drug situation, because I understand it's more than just your parents arguing with you. Now your parents are starting to argue with each other because they're not agreeing on how to discipline you. This is beyond just a parent-kid thing, right? Is that right, John? Is that?
That's right. We're going to counseling for ourselves too, because it gets us on both sides of the argument about what to do about it. One of the best things is just going to the counseling together, but besides that, we go to a marriage counselor, because sometimes I don't feel that she supports me enough in discipline. Sometimes she thinks I'm doing too much, or whatever it is. It gets us at odds and kind of puts us apart.
David, when we come back, I'd like you to tell us, because I know that Carol O'Connor alluded to this in his public service announcement, that, you know, you smell the pot the first time, you say, because you don't want to mess up that relationship. But sometimes a little tough love can help kids, and I want to talk about that as well. If you suspect that your son or your daughter may be using drugs and you are looking for help, please stay tuned. In fact, go and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, because we're going to give you a number to call for help, and see if we can get some help for our folks on today's show as well. We'll be right back in a minute.
When I was high on pot, I was flirting with this guy, and I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know his name, and we ended up having sex with each other, and I felt like, why am I doing this to myself, and what's going on with me? I felt very ashamed, and I felt embarrassed, and I felt dirty. Marijuana, it won't get you nowhere.